Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Shashthodhyayah Atma Sanyama Yogaha. 43. So he is continuing the same topic of, this person who is born in a wise family, or this person is born in a pious family. So what happens to him in that birth? Tatra tam buddhi sanyogam labhate purvadehikam yatate cha tato bhuyah samsiddhau kuru nandana. In shlokas 43 to 45, he is saying that what does this yoga prashta do in his new human life? That is the answer he is giving here. So he says that he will resume from where he left off. Because only if you get the human life, you can resume, right? If you are born as an animal, you cannot resume. So that is why he also guaranteed that human birth. He will be guaranteed human birth, and then he will also continue with the practice. He says, Tatra tam buddhi samyoga. So there, what he will do, buddhi samyoga, he will reawaken the wisdom. Labhate paurvadehikam. So from the previous lives, he got the wisdom, right? That will get reawakened. Yatate cha tataha bhuyaha. So he will start to strive again. Yatate, strives. Cha tataha, thereafter, bhuyaha. Again he will start to strive. Samsiddhau kurunandana. Samsiddhau, for perfection. Again he will start to strive for perfection from where he left off. Nothing will be lost. He will automatically, nothing needs to be told to him. Like how Buddha, when he saw the corpse, clicked that, okay, all this is not permanent. That means previously he has done so much and he was so ripe that just one spark was enough for him to realize that, okay, this is not permanent. Because why? Previous practice was there for Buddha. Then one great saint is there in the south, Patinathar. He was walking and people were crying that their relative had passed away. And he also started crying along with them. So everybody was looking at him and said, you are a jnani, why are you crying? We are all crying because, okay, we are attached. He said, I am crying for those who are also going to die. For that I am crying. These people are crying for a dead person, but oblivious of the fact that they are also going to die one day. So he said, I am crying for you all who are going to die one day. So that kind of knowledge is coming to them because of the previous janmas. So here the general translation is, on taking such a birth, O Arjuna, they reawaken the wisdom of their previous lives and strive even harder towards getting the perfection. 44. Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha jignasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. So in this shloka, he says that due to previous practices, he is just pulled. Automatically, he is pulled. Purva bhyasena tena eva. Purva bhyasena, past discipline, tena, by that eva, certainly. Hriyate hi avashaha. Hriyate is he is pulled. Surely, avashaha, helplessly will be pulled. He will not even want to go in that direction. He will be automatically drawn. He doesn't have to put any effort. And then they say Deepta Shiraha. That means like a person whose head is on fire. Like that, people who realize, they will have the thought as though their head is on fire. I'm not sure if I'm right. I think it is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He used to, on the road, he used to cry every day and ask, have you seen mother? Have you seen mother? Like that, every day he used to cry and roll on the ground, it seems. So everybody thought this poor boy, he lost his mother or something, or he got lost. He is crying that he didn't see God, mother. So like that, the desperation is there for those people. Deepta Shiraha means the person whose head is on fire. That kind of intense mumukshutvam should be there. So this person who was a yoga brashta, he will be helplessly pulled and he will get that such intensity that, there is nothing else I want to do. Like that, he will get that intensity, and then only he will get the realization. So, hriyatehi avashaha. So, he will be pulled so helplessly. Api saha jignasuhu. That person who is a jignasu, who is an inquisitor, the person who is in the third stage, who has not realized yet. He will tell in chapter 7 only, that there are 4 kinds of people. One will be the person who goes and tells God that I have so many problems, please help me. Like that, he will go and he will pray to God. The other person will be, I want all these things, good things in life. For that, he will pray. And the third person will be the person who is a jignasu, who wants to realize, who is inquisitive, who wants knowledge. And the fourth person is a jnani. And Krishna will say that the jnani is my best bhakta. All of them are my bhaktas, but the jnani is best bhakta. Like that, this jignasu, who is inquisitive, then Shabda Brahmad Ativartate. So this jignasu, he transcends the karma kanda portion, where things are promised, good things, good fruits are promised, do this puja, do this yajna, you'll get this. That he doesn't want. All he wants is self-realization. So that will become the state of this person who is a yoga brashta, who is born in a good family, that he will be able to continue these practices. So the general translation is, indeed they feel drawn towards this path, even against their will, on the strength of their past disciplines. Such seekers naturally rise above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. 45 again is continuing. प्रयत्नात्यदमानस्तु योगी संशुद्धकिल्बिषः अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः ततो याति परां गतिम्. So this person, he will free himself from all this material desires, raga, dvesha, everything. After many attempts and many lives, he will attain the supreme. Great effort has to be put into it. Prayatnat, with great effort. Yathamanaha, endeavoring, continuously endeavoring. To yogi samshuddha kilbishaha. This yogi who is going in this path is purified from his sins. He is purified from his material desires. He is purified from his likes and dislikes. Aneka janma samsiddha. Aneka janma, after many births, what happens to this yogi? Samsiddha, he attains the perfection. Tato yati param gati. So that then he attains the param gati. He attains the highest goal. So the general translation is, with the accumulated merits of many past births, when these yogis engage in sincere endeavor in making further progress, they become purified from material desires and attain perfection in this very life itself. So now the topics are closed. In 46, Krishna is going to do stuti of this yoga. He is going to praise the Dhyana yoga. Shloka number 46. Tapasvibhyodhiko yogi ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन. So here he says, he is comparing with 3 people. He is telling that this Dhyana yoga is better than, so first let's take karmibhya. Karmibhya means these karmis. Karmis are people who are doing this ritualistic practices. The people, like in chapter 2 also, he said, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, like that he said, Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham Pravadantya Vipaschitaha Vedavadarataaf Partha Nanyadasti iti Vadinaha. Like that he condemned the people who are going after the ritualistic portion of the Vedas. Those people are after results only, result oriented. I want to go to heaven. I want to get good janmas. We have to go towards realization, which is told in the Jnana Kanda portion of the Vedas. Talking first Karmibhya, the Karmis, they are doing just rituals, they are doing pujas, they are doing yajnas, all this to get some results. More than that, Karmis, this Dhyana Yoga is superior, first point. Then he's talking about Tapasvibhya. Tapas means following some austere practices. But tapas here means, it is interpreted as upasana. The person who is worshipping the Saguna Brahman, the person who is worshipping the Nirguna Brahman aspect is more superior to the person who is the Upasakan. Like that it is interpreted. Tapasvibhyaha. Then Jnanibhyaha. So Jnanibhyaha means the person who just has the knowledge. He didn't practice it. He just has a knowledge. So this Dhyana Yogi is much more superior to this person also. In Vedanta, what were the steps we saw? Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga meant what? Dharmika Jivana. That you will do the karmas in the way that you sacrifice it to God, or you do it as a service, selflessly, whatever acts you do, that becomes the Karma Yoga. And the phalam, the fruits of it will be vivekam and vairagyam and mumukshutvam. Three things you will get. The sadhana chatushtayam, if you remember that we saw. So there was vivekam. Vivekam means discrimination. When you do karma yoga, you will get the discriminatory capabilities to say, okay, this is all not permanent. I don't want this. Like that, you'll be able to discriminate. And vairagyam will also come, that I don't want it. If it is not permanent, why do I want it? Like that, that vairagyam will come. And then mumukshutvam. Then you will have the desire to go towards the eternal. So that will come too. So these three things will come as a phalan of the karma yoga if you do it properly. And your mumukshutvam will increase. If you do karma yoga in the proper way, selflessly, you will get these qualities. And then upasana, which is engaging in the mental worship of God, whom he said is the tapasvi. Then the phalam of this, what this person will get who is doing the mental worship, he will get the shamaha and the damaha. In the Shat Sampati we saw. The damaha in chapter 2, if you remember, lot of shlokas were given about the sense control and the mind control. So all those things, the qualities, sense control and the mind control, you will get when you do the mental worship of God. After, or like combined, you will do the Vedanta Shravana, like how you are listening to Vedanta, to the Upanishads, to Bhagavad Gita. And Bhagavad Gita, which is a saram of all the Upanishads. You don't need to even go to any other place. Everything has been told in Bhagavad Gita. One text that if you read with all your heart and thoroughly, it is covering everything that you need to know. So that you will do, Vedanta Shravana. And Mananam is, you will clear the doubts. You may have some doubts which you will clear. And then Nididhyasanam, which we said was the meditation on the Nirguna Brahman, is said to be the highest. When we go on to all these steps, he's saying that the person who does this Nididhyasanam, the focusing on the Nirguna Brahman, is better than all these three people. That is the interpretation. So, meaning becomes, a yogi is superior to the tapasvi, the aesthetic, superior to the jnani, a person of learning, and even superior to the karmi, a ritualistic performer. Therefore, O Arjuna, strive to be a yogi. So the Dhyana Yoga Stuti is done here. How great it is. For shloka number 47, he concludes this chapter and he actually is planting a seed here for the next chapter. Actually, for the next segment itself. So we will see. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. So he talked about the person, the emphasis is that you will do Nididhyasanam, you will know the truth, you will meditate and you will reach the goal. But here now he puts like a little clause where he says, Yoginam api sarvesham. Of all the yogis, matgatena antaha atmana. Atmana means with the mind, antaha means inner, madgatena means he should be absorbed in me. Absorbed in me, we will see just absorbed in who? Absorbed in me. Shraddhavan bhajate yoma. So Shraddhavan, with full faith, he is engaged. He is seeking me. Bhajate also means seek. Same yukta tamoha mataha. So I consider yukta tamo, he is the highest yogi. So he is saying that all this you do, the person, the yogi who is doing the dhyana should also be absorbed in me. We have to understand Me meaning it will be interpreted in various ways. Next chapter we will see as Krishna, as Arjuna's friend Krishna, as Vishnu who is Avatara, he is responsible for the sthiti, for the maintenance of this world. As Ishvara who is Brahman plus Maya, and also as the Nirguna Brahman. Here it is interpreted as the Saguna Brahma or the Ishvara. It is a gateway into the next chapter. So what is being talked about here is knowing about Brahman, knowing about yourself, Brahman, of course you should know, but having the knowledge of the Saguna Brahman as well. Like that he is telling here. What does it mean? Brahman along with Maya is called Ishvara. When you combine the power of Maya to the Nirguna Brahman, it is called the Ishvara. The Lord we worship with the form, with the shape, with qualities. That is called the Ishvara or the Saguna Brahman. Then with the ignorance, if there is this Atma, we call it the Jiva. So along with the Maya, this Brahman is called the Ishvara. Along with ignorance, this Atma is called the Jiva, of who we have the ignorance of, we don't know the reality. That ignorance we have. When you have the body consciousness, you are a Bhakta and you will worship the Bhagavan who is Ishvara. There will be duality. When you are body conscious, you have to have dualism. You are the Bhakta and there is a Bhagavan and he is a creator. When you remove your body from it, and when you remove God's body, for example, Maya, the Brahman of the Ishvara and the Atman of the Jiva is exactly the same. The reality is the same. That is Advaita. Dvaita will be there because you need to worship God. Will the Jnani then he has realized, should he worship God? He will worship God because that will become his nature. So what is being said is you should realize who you are along with knowing the Saguna Brahma aspect also. Jnana and Vijnana, that they will talk in the next chapter. So Jnana is the Dvaita. Okay, so you are separate, God is separate, we have to worship God. But once the reality is known, you are not saying that you are God. That is totally different. You are not the same as God. The component, the reality in you and the reality in God, which we call the Atma, is the same as the reality in God, which is a Brahman. That is what we are saying. So always we have to worship God. Transactional world, we have to worship God. But knowing the truth means knowing you are beyond that duality. The reality of God and reality of you are the same. That component only is the same. We are not the same as God. So that is what will come in the next chapter. And so he is putting a seed into it, which is he's saying that along with devotion, what you should know is both the Swarupas you should know. One is the form we worship, which is the Ishvara, where I am endowed with Maya. That is Ishvara. And there is the Nirguna aspect of me, which has got no attributes. So this completes yes.
Yeah. So is there a Sanskrit word for ignorance that you're talking? So just
Avidya.
Again to reconfirm.
Avidya. Avidya, yeah.
Okay. So you are saying Atman plus Avidya or ignorance is equal to Jiva.
Yes.
So the Jiva has the Atma component, but it's just with ignorance, and that is Jiva, and Atma plus Maya is Ishvara.
Yes. So Atma and Brahman are the same in Advaita. It can be used interchangeably. There is no duality, but from duality only we can get to the Advaita. That there is nothing apart from this Brahman. It is all a manifestation of this one Brahman. So we will see more in depth of what is Ishvara. 47, general meaning is, of all the yogis whose minds are always absorbed in me and who engage in devotion to me with great faith, them I consider to be the highest of all. Very quickly, I will tell you, we will go through it in the 7th chapter also. So this is called the Shatkam. So we finished one major big Shatkam. Shatkam meaning 6 chapters. It had 280 shlokas. And it was also like big and deep. And what it covers is, it covers the Jiva Swarupam. Jiva Swarupam means what? It was divided ourselves into 2 parts, right? The Atma and the Anatma. He divided like that. And then the Anatma was again divided into Stula, Sukshma, and the Karna Shariras and all. Karma Yoga was being taught from chapters 2 to 6. Even in 6, he talked about Karma Yoga. And Swaya Prayatna, what the Jiva must do. All topics were related to the Jiva. Panyasa, Tita Prajna, Yajnas, all this related to the Jiva. 7 to 12 will talk about Ishvara Swarupam, Ishvara Tattva. What is Ishvara actually? And it will talk about Bhakti Yoga and Ishvara Anugraha, Ishvara's grace. 7 to 12. Then 13 to 18 will talk about Jiva Ishvara Aikyam. The Jiva is the same as that of the Ishvara in the sense of the reality component, the Aikyam of that. Then Jnana, some values will be given after that. So this is a basic construct of what is to come. Quickly we will go through chapter 6, very brief summary. Up to Shloka 32, we saw 4 topics. It was Bahiranga Sadhana, practices outside Dhyana, Antaranga Sadhana, practices before Dhyana, setup, etc. Dhyana Swarupam, the Dhyana itself, and the Dhyana Pala, the fruits of Dhyana. So up to 32, we saw these 4 topics. And Shloka 1 to 6 talked about the Bahiranga Sadhana, Karma Yoga. Then he did the Stuti of the Karma Yoga. He talked about 2 words, Arurukshu and Yoga Roda. Arurukshu is a beginner, Yoga Roda is the advanced practitioner. And he also talked about the self-effort and self-confidence as one of the Bahiranga Sadhanas. Shloka 7 to 9 talked about Dhyana Palam. Circumstances, objects and people have to be same. He said the Samatvam, Samaloshtasmakanchana and all the Dukkha and Sukha, all this has to be, will be the same. That will be the Palan of doing this Dhyana. Then 10 to 14 shlokas talked about the Antaranga Sadhana, which meant what? The place, the seating, you have to sit alone. Shloka number 15, he again talked about the Dhyana Pala. He said that they will get the Shanti and Mat Samstam, he said, he will reach me. And then Shloka 16 to 17, he talked about the Bahiranga Sadhana, about eat, sleep, recreation and action to be regulated. It should not be in excess, it should not be too less. And then 18 to 19, he talked about the Dhyana Swarupa, which means how should the Dhyana itself be. And then Shlokas 20 to 23, he talked about the Dhyana Phalam. The Paramaha was the peace of mind, Atma Tripti is the contentment, Atyantikam Sukham is the limitless happiness, Tattvanishta is situated in the truth, Niradishaya Labham, nothing greater to be attained, Dukkena Vichalanam, not moved by any sorrow, Dukkha Samyoga Viyoga was a removal from union with Visri. So all this we saw in Shlokas 20 to 23. Then 24 to 26, he talks about Dhyana Swarupam, removing the Anatma Vritti, keeping the mind the Atma Vritti, like that he talked about. Then 27 to 32, he talked about the Atma, Ishvara, the Anatma perspectives. He said this person will see his Atma everywhere in all the beings. He said this person will see Ishvara in all. Then he also said that this person will think of others' sorrow and happiness as same. Whatever he experiences, he will think that it is the same for that person. Like that he said. 33 to 36, Yoga Pratibandham and Upaya. What are the obstacles to yoga and what is the solution? That we saw as question and answer. Then 36 to 45, Yoga Brashta. So the person who is lax and he falls down from this path, what happens to him? So we saw all that, the answers given by Krishna. 46, he did the Stuti of the Dhyana Yoga. 47, he closed it with a connection to the next segment of Saguna Brahma. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita-Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Atma Sanyama Yogo Nama Dhyana Yogo Nama Shashtho Dhyayah. Prathama Shatkam Samapta. Please read the glories of chapter 6 as we are reading from the Padma Purana. Padma Purana, let's recap what we are reading. To glorify the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Vishnu said, O Lakshmi Devi, myself have personally manifested in the form of Bhagavad Gita. It is my Murti form An intelligent person who daily recites one chapter of the shloka, a half or quarter shloka, will attain the highest goal. After saying this, Bhagavan Sri Vishnu spoke the glories of Bhagavad Gita's first 6 chapters to his dearly beloved Sri Lakshmi Devi. Then Lord Shiva narrated the glories of reading, hearing, or chanting chapters 6 through 18 to his most beautiful Parvati Devi. In closing his narration, Lord Shiva gave this Shruti Phala verse of blessing. Lord Shiva said, hearing or studying the Gita Mahatmyam quickly destroys all one's sins. One who faithfully remembers this discourse will attain the benefits of all kinds of yajnas and punya karma. In addition, one will enjoy all worldly pleasures and will reach the highest goal. Is the extract from the Padma Purana, where Vishnu is narrating. So as they said there, first 6 chapters glories narrated by Vishnu and then later narrated by Lord Shiva. So Lord Vishnu said, the glories of chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita from Padma Purana. Lord Vishnu said, now I will tell you the glories of the 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Whoever hears this description will be liberated from this material world. On the bank of Godavari river, there is a beautiful town of the name of Pratishtanpur, Paitan, where I am famous by the name of Pipalesh. In that town, there was a king of the name Janshruti, whom the people loved very much and whose qualities were unlimited. He performed daily fire sacrifices, which were so opulent and large that the smoke from them reached the heavenly pleasure garden known as Nandavan and made the leaves of the Kalpa Vrikshaka trees black. These trees appeared as if they were offering their respects to King Janashruti. Due to the pious activities of that great king, demigods always resided in Pratishtanpur. When Janashruti would give charity, he would distribute just as the clouds distribute the rain. Due to Janashruti's pure religious activities, rain always came at the right time, and the fields were always full of crops which were not disturbed by the 6 types of rodents. He was always digging wells and lakes for the welfare of the citizens. The demigods, being very pleased with Janashruti, went to his palace in the form of swans to bless him. They were flying through the sky, one behind the other, talking together. Bhadrashva, along with 2 or other 3 swans, flew ahead of the rest. At that time, the other swans addressed Bhadrashva, "Oh brother, why are you flying ahead? Do you not see in front of you the great king Janashruti, who is so powerful that he can burn up his enemies by his desire?" When Bhadrashva heard the words of the swans, he started to laugh and said, "Oh brothers, is the king Janashruti as powerful as the great sage 𝐊𝐷𝐿𝐷?" When the king heard the words of the swans, he immediately came down from the roof of his high palace and happily sat on his throne. At this time, he called his chariot driver and instructed him to go and find the great sage 𝐊𝐷𝐷. When the chariot driver of the name Maha heard the king's instructions, he became very happy and left immediately to search out for 𝐊𝐷𝐷. First, he traveled to Kashi Puri, where Lord Vishwanath resides, for the welfare of all the beings. Next, he went to Gaya, where the lotus-eyed Lord Gadadhara, who is capable of freeing all beings from the bondage of birth and death, stays. After having traveled to many holy places, he came to Mathura, which is capable of destroying all sins. In this place, Krishna resides. All of the great sages, demigods, and also the Vedas and other Shastras, in their personal forms, perform austerities and render service to Lord Krishna. Mathura, which is in the shape of a half moon and is situated on the bank of the beautiful devotion-giving river Jamuna. In that area is a beautiful Govardhana hill, which adds to the splendor and glory of Mathura Mandala like a large jewel in a crown. It is surrounded by pure trees and creepers. There are 12 wonderful forests surrounding Mathura, in which Lord Krishna enjoys his wonderful pastimes. After leaving Mathura, Maha traveled to the west and then to the north. One day, he came to a town known as Kashmir, in which he saw a very large and shining white place. At that place, all of the people, even the foolish men, looked as beautiful demigods due to the fact that many sacrifices were burning continuously. It looked as if a row of clouds always hung over that town. The deity of Lord Shiva, which is known as Manikeshwara, resided in that town. The king of Kashmir had just returned from defeating many kings and was engaged in worshipping Lord Shiva. Due to his great devotion to Lord Shiva, that king was known as Manikeshwar. Just close to the door of the temple, sitting on a small cart underneath the tree, Maha saw the great sage 𝐊𝐸𝐂𝐻. When he recognized 𝐊𝐸𝐂𝐻 from the description of Janashruti, he immediately fell at his feet and inquired from him, "O great sage, where do you live? And what is your full name? You are such a highly elevated person. Why are you sitting in this place?" When 𝐊𝐸𝐂𝐻 heard the words of Maha, he thought for some time and then replied, "I am fully satisfied. I do not require anything." When Maha heard this reply, in his heart he could understand everything. He immediately left on the long journey back to Pratisthanpur. When he reached his destination, he immediately went and offered his respects to the king and with folded hands informed the king of all the events which had taken place. After the king had heard everything from Maha, he decided to leave at once to take darshan of the great sage 𝐊𝐸𝐂𝐻. Sitting in the beautiful chariot and taking with him many valuable gifts, he left for Kashmir. When he reached the place where he saw 𝐊𝐸𝐻 was staying, he fell at his feet and placed the entire valuable silks and jewels which he had brought with him before 𝐊𝐸𝐻. At that time, the great sage 𝐊𝐸𝐻 became very angry. He said, "O foolish king, you take all these useless things and put them in your chariot and leave from this place." The king immediately, with great devotion, fell at the feet of 𝐊𝐸𝐻 and begged his forgiveness, asking him to be merciful upon him. He inquired from 𝐊𝐸𝐻, "O sage, how have you attained such a great state of renunciation and devotion to the Lord?" Becoming pleased with the king's submissive attitude, 𝐊𝐸𝐻 replied, "Daily I recite the 6th chapter of the �ശ്രീമദ്-Bhagavad Gita." After that, King Janashruti heard from 𝐊𝐸𝐻 the 6th chapter of �ശ്രീമദ്-Bhagavad Gita. Thereafter, he engaged in daily recitation of the 6th chapter. And in course of time, a flower aeroplane arrived and took him to Vaikuntha. Meanwhile, the great sage who was reciting the 6th chapter of �ശ്രീമദ്-Bhagavad Gita daily also went to Vaikuntha. Anyone who recites the 6th chapter of �ശ്രീമദ്-Bhagavad Gita will soon reach the supreme goal.